So we're on the home stretch now. This video's already getting long, but we're getting there now. So what I'm going to do is create a... No, what I'm going to do is turn off level 1. Let's get level 1 a name here. We didn't bother to name that for some reason. So this is going to be our main... We'll call this our main profile. Okay, so we could have had this turned off the entire time here. I'm not sure why I left it off, but... So what I want to do next is, the only things we have left to do is the wheel wells and the truck bed. So let's do the truck bed here next. We can leave this on the window geometry plane. You can consider it as a back window for the truck. Okay, so we're going to do an extrude in the back here. For this guy though, I want it to basically go straight into the truck from looking down at it from the top. So it'll go straight down. It's not going to be normal to this surface here, otherwise we'd get a weird looking bed. So we want to come straight down from the top. So setting planes to WCS CNT to top. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch to 2D drawing. And in my Z, hitting the arrow here, I'm going to right click and Z coordinate of a point. And I'm going to pick that point at the very top of the truck, because it returns this value of 1.872 whatever. So now, in this 2D mode, I'm going to do some more curve on one edge, and I want to grab this edge, and that edge. So it just creates them at that Z level in a flat plane. So now I can use these to offset inside of and then extrude into the truck. So we are still set to this top, and I'm going to do the offset chains. Select this stuff, hit OK. Offset direction to the inside, 100 thou. Copy. We could be set to a move here since we're not going to be using that outside geometry for anything else. Let's go to move. Hit OK. And now we're again going to do a line parallel, grabbing this back line, and we can kind of just visually place where we think the end of this truck bed will be. So again, looking at some pictures, I think it ends slightly behind the window, so somewhere around that area-ish, around here. And again, if we want to give it a round number, I'll say 1 inch and 3/4. It's just a nominal size. It's all good there. So again, just trim this stuff up here. We'll go into trim 2. Again, clicking on what you want to keep. It's clear colors. And let's hop into our extrude. Again, planes don't matter here because the geometry is creating the plane of the extrusion. So for this, make sure we turn our draft off. We don't want any draft on our truck bed. And obviously we'll need to increase this distance. And this is there's no rule as to how deep this should go, other than we don't want to obviously gouge into our wheel wells here. So something shorter than that. And again, if we want a round number, let's go 0.7. Sounds good. Green check. Okay, so there's the bed of our truck. Looking good. Okay, so we're all done with that window geometry, so let's turn the visibility of that stuff off. So there we're getting a look at our progress so far. Everything's looking pretty good. We just need to finish off our wheel wells in here for now. So let's turn on our main profile again. So make it active and make it visible. And our planes, we're set to top, but we're going to do some drawing from the right here. So let's set our plane to the right for construction and toolpaths, and let's go for a right view. Okay. Now, I guess one thing, the green shows up nicely on the model here, but it doesn't show up all that great in the background here. So I'm going to select both tires, right-click, and I'm going to make those red. Okay. So now if you want to do any editing of the location of these things, it's probably the best time to get on this now. And I'm going to do that for mine. I'm going to go into transform. We could do either translator or dynamic. I'm just going to click on dynamic. Select what I want to move, hit end. And this thing I can place wherever. It doesn't matter where I place this right now because it's all going to be relative. So I'm going to click over here. And when I move this, this will move the same distance and direction that I move this. And since I want to have a good visual look at what's going on here, that's why I place this off to the side. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I'm clicking just on the red arrow because I only want to move it left and right, not up and down or arbitrarily. So clicking on the red arrow. And I can move this around now and just kind of ballpark where I want this thing to be. Now, one thing to watch for, my cursor right now is on top of the ruler. So notice I get snap points, 2 dimensions. Pull your cursor off that ruler and you can move freely to any position. So I want to be about, I don't know, I think there looks good, right there. Okay. So with that, blue check. So I'm going to do the same thing to the back tire. And selection and place this wherever, doesn't matter. And then click on the red arrow and let's move it around until we're happy with the location. Right. I'm going to say there, it looks great. Green check. Okay, so there's our newly modified tire locations. Look a little bit better. And if you want, you can move yours up into the wheel wells a little bit more or out further, depending on how big your tires are. Whatever, it's your call. So next up, we need to make, we don't need these for wireframe geometry, but we need this to represent the hole that we're going to use for the axle. So I'm going to create a circle, and I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch. The hole going through this will be a 1/4 inch hole for the axle. And look for that visual cue to say that you're snapping to. Before we do that, I think we have a problem here with my, let's go to 3D before it gets in the wrong spots. There, make sure that's in the wrong spot. Center of the circle, center of our tire at the correct Z level. And let's do another one over here. 0.25, green check. Okay. So 2 1/4 inch holes that are going to represent the axle holes for this guy. So knowing that this is a hole that's going to go through something, there needs to be obviously material around it to support it. So we need to create another circle around the outside of it that has a wall thickness that's going to be strong enough to support this axle. Now this thing's not going to be super heavy, so if we go with a 3/8 diameter, that's a 1/16 wall. That should be okay. And we'll make that on both sides. So a 3/8 circle around the 1/4 inch circles that we already made. So next, we're going to close off this geometry by drawing a line from here to here. Same thing on the back tire, from there to there. And this is going to be a sharp corner, so we want to have some blend in here. So let's go ahead and blend this stuff up. But before we blend it, let's trim away the excess. So divide. Let's get rid of what we don't need. We don't need that or that. So there, we end up with that shape. I guess if I tilt it, you can actually see with the solid in the background. So again, clicking on what we want to get rid of, that and that. Okay. And we're going to add in a fillet. You could do a chamfer in here, but I think a fillet will be fine as well. So let's go fillet. 1/4 inch radius is good. From there to there. Select the one that we want, which is that guy. From there to there. Same thing, opposite side. Select the 2 lines that you want to create the fillet between, and then click on the fillet you want to keep. Green check. Okay, so we've got all that geometry now. That's all we need to do this middle extrude. So let's go ahead and take care of both of those right now. Solid, extrude, and let's lock over to construction plane because we are in the right construction plane, so this might help us. So get all the way around. I need to tell it to keep going this way. Okay, so that's good. It gets all the way back around. Let's select the hole as well. Same thing over here. Select the hole. Select the boundary, help it out where you need to, and green check. So now with this solid function, we're not doing a cut body. We are, in fact, adding a boss. So make sure you click on Add Boss. We're going to do the same as we did the main body, which is extruded in both directions. And then the distance here is going to depend on how wide you want to make your tires for this guy. So if you want skinny guys, go with a larger extrusion. If you want really wide ones, maybe go a little bit skinnier on your extrusion. So what I think I'm going to go with is 3/4. Again, keeping in mind, this distance is the extrude in each direction. So my overall extrusion with this value is 1.5 inches. So I like that. Green check, hit OK.